Hi guys, this is Kaizen and welcome back to the channel. So today we'll be reviewing the Neoeco SJ83 Airbrush, and we're going to do a little bit of comparison as well with the Ultra 2024. Now, this is a 0.3mm airbrush. I will be removing this cup because I just need the 1cc cup that it comes with. And I think that's already enough for me for my demonstration purposes, but we're gonna do some tests. So now for this test, I'll be also using this. This is an Neoeco box compressor, the cheap box compressor that generically you would find in Shopee, Temu, AliExpress, whatever place you buy. Okay, this is so generic and so just small. It's really small and compact because this is actually the cheapest air compressor in the market. You can get this for 1,300, the cheapest that I find, which is in our store. And yeah, it's easy to carry and very straightforward for beginners, I think. Okay, now, there's a lot of speculations about this, if the air is consistent with these types of air compressors. Now, I bought this. This is an anemometer where we're gonna test if the airflow of this air compressor is really consistent. I'll be using a 1/8 thread hose. This is just 1 meter. It's not that long. It's just a 1 meter hose connected to this. Now, I know it looks janky. This is just donated by a friend, which is I need to thank. Mon, thank you for donating this. This is an amazing compressor. It served me well, okay? Because not gonna lie, this is my favorite compressor. I have a tank compressor. I have an actual office compressor, which is underneath this table. But this is my go-to because when I teach, I use this. And when I have a lot of paint jobs, which is I have to move around different cities, I bring this. This is so helpful and this is so straightforward to bring. Now this test is pretty straightforward. So we're gonna test first the air compressor. So I'm just gonna point air directly to this anemometer from this machine to this 1 meter hose. That's pretty much it. So far we're in a consistent 2. So this is like 2 inches away from the figure to the miniature. This is the representation of how far I would actually paint. So far, the air compressor is pretty consistent, but in a low 2.2. It's expected because the airflow is pretty big. It's not concentrated like if the air was in an airbrush. But so far, 2.2, 2.0, that is pretty consistent in my book. Now, this compressor passed. Now, there's so many people complaining that, oh, it overheats. It kind of does. But for me, with this compressor, it takes 2 hours of airbrushing session before it overheats. And then I just let it rest for 10 minutes and we're good to go. So it really depends on you. Because for me, 2 hours is already a lot. And then a 10-minute rest is already good to go. It's very compact, very small. If you could hear the machine, it's a little bit noisy, but I highly doubt you guys could hear it. It's not that really mind-boggling or annoying, not like the ones with the tank compressor when they start up. But this is very attainable of the noise. If you have kids, it's a very friendly airbrush. It's not that noisy. So you can see it's very consistent. We're gonna stop. And let's try to test the air with an airbrush. Okay, we are at the 4 right now, 4.1. Okay, the airbrush is pretty consistent. This is 3 inches away, basically, from the miniature to the airbrush. That is pretty consistent air right there. Very concentrated air. It's doing its job. Basically, if I'm this far away, I'm base coating. So, the main gauge for detailed airbrush is usually 4 to 4.5. Usually, if you're working on a really small space, a 3 would be nice, or a 2 of the air consistency. By the way, this is still the same PSI, max PSI from the box compressor, which is 30 in what it actually says. But I highly doubt that, but it feels like 25 to 30 as well. But if you're seeing these numbers, it's pretty consistent. So this is the Ultra 2024 in a 0.3mm nozzle and needle, the same as the Neoeco over there. So we're gonna give it a same test. So the Ultra is sitting at 3.6. Wow, pretty consistent. More for a high-end airbrush. I expect it to go lower, yeah. 3.7. This is 3 inches away. 3.8. Pretty, very consistent. This is a more detailed brush and more robust. So this going a little bit lower means you have more control when you're going to details. So yeah, it's a really good airbrush, really close. Like, they're really, really close. Like, a little bit more, it's the same. It's just, well, this is just 2,000 to 2,500 pesos compared to this right now that's sitting at 9,800, which is, that is almost 1/4 of the price. And the difference is super minimal. It's insane. And it has the same features, like when you put the needle in and stuff, but the only thing it doesn't have is this color changer, which is, for me, is a really good, helpful tool for beginners when you're controlling an airbrush and you don't know how far back you need to control. But you can also do that with this adjustment knob here, but this is way better because it's labeled and such, in a more heavier airbrush for beginners, because for a beginner you want something with more weight to it, so you get used to it. And the grip, the trigger here is a little bit more softer. I want something like a little bit harder when you're airbrushing as a beginner, but the performance of the flow of both airbrushes are really good. They're really close, which is insane. So this is with a very crappy air compressor, as they say. Right now it's not that hot. So let's try airbrushing with our Neoeco. Let's actually do some painting exercise and demos. So far, a good contender, like close to an ultra, very close. I put a small easel in. I'll be using inks to test it out. These are the Montemart acrylic inks, which they suck, by the way. I don't highly recommend them, but they're really good to test airbrushes. So they're not the best paints for painting miniatures and such, but they're not that bad. They just suck. This is with the air cap on. That's a big. Alright, now if I remove the cap, it will help me go finer lines because it's a very open cap. So paint will really spread out. But if I remove the cap, it can go really detailed. This, that, very detailed. I can go lower. I could go small. I can make really small lines. I can press the trigger response. So if I'm painting a small space marine, I can just do that. And the automation is also good. I go full bat, like it's really consistent airbrush. Now, if you want to be fully detailed with this, you can change the air cap like to the 2.0mm nozzle and needle set, which you can also buy in the store. We have so many airbrush caps and parts you can play around, but this is pretty consistent in my book, like really consistent. So you go far away and it goes slow and it goes right. It's really good. And there you have it. This is the Neoeco airbrush with a crappy air compressor. Really good, highly recommend so far. And if you're in the budget, this is probably the best budget airbrush. Like, for the price, it's wild. Really wild. It's like an ultra for 1/4 of the price. And this is my review, guys. This is Kai, and I hope you guys learned a lot today. The next video will be how to clean this thing. Thank you for watching. I'm Kaizen, and see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.